Hi, I'm Daniel, and if, like me, you watch a lot of content on the internet of people doing sporty things, you've probably had this brand rammed down your neck several times. Now, this video is a video about an Insta360 Ace Pro 2, but it's a little bit different to probably most of the ones you've seen in the past, in that this is not sponsored by Insta360. I've not got a link, I've not got a code, they've not sent it me for free. I have had to part with my semi-hard-earned money for this, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you my honest first impressions, my thoughts about the camera, and also my reasons for making the purchase. No shade on any creators that work with Insta360, obviously it's absolutely fine, and I'm not salty at all about having to fork out my own money for it. Joking, right. So on this channel, I make videos about swimming, cycling, running, and I mainly use these things. These are GoPros. One is a 10 and one's an 11 or a 12, I don't really know. Yes, I've been to the barbers and put my hair on the corner of them. On the whole, I've had a good experience with GoPro. They've enabled me to put out loads of videos. I'm out running and jiggling around. I'm on the bike and I'm rattling through potholes, and the quality is good. The audio is good now that I've put some work into the audio, and on the whole, these things have been okay. But over the last year or two, I have come across some problems with them, enough problems in fact to make me try something else. So the main problems: audio. I've had to go to some lengths, as I've said, to make sure the audio is good quality. I've had to buy the official GoPro media mod, which I think is 80 quid each, which basically puts a directional microphone on the corner of the GoPro, and then I've had to hack some dead cat fluff stuff on it so that it actually doesn't just pick up loads of wind noise, so that wasn't ideal. The second problem is that I do quite a lot of cycling content, and when I'm out on the bike I do like to put on the stats on screen, so like power, heart rate, speed, all the stuff that makes the video actually make sense and people can understand what, you know, how fast you're going or how much effort you're putting in, because without those it just feels a bit bland really. And GoPro don't have a software package that enable you to do that, so you have to rely on third-party softwares which come and go. Some are good, some are bad, some work with your computer, some don't, and it's just been a bit of a potluck, to be honest. I'm doing lots of bike racing in 2025, so I want to be able to have some stats on screen, and when I'm out on like the club ride or a chain gang ride, I just want to flip my camera on for 2 or 3 minutes. I don't want a massive job to put the data on screen. I want it to be pretty quick and simple. The third problem is it's hard to put my finger on it, but they're just a bit buggy, they're just a bit crashy, and I've updated softwares and firmwares and whatever the right words are, and I just find that when you want to rely on it, they just glitch and drop out, and the battery dies straight away, or they'll keep recording in your pocket and then it's dead and the memory's full and all of that. And it's not very often user error, in honesty. It's just a case of I find that I'm really buggy with these media mods on, and I've not gone to the trouble of like raising tickets and stuff. It's just frustrating. I always reset it and start again, but it's annoying. You probably know what it's like. You're putting your grill out here and you're ascending, you're trying to get their shots, and you go for it bugged out and you dribble on your face for nothing. So why did I pick this one then, the Insta360 Ace Pro 2? Well, it is the newest one, it is the top of the line one. With me making videos on this channel, you know, I do want to invest in the quality of it and how frustrated I've been with some products previously, so thought it was worth a go. Now, I'm not going to read you the tech spec sheets. I'm going to talk to you about why I've bought this specific one and the benefits I think I'm going to get. I don't really know. I have tested it a couple of times, which I'll show in a little minute, but this is it. And on the face of it, I mean, it looks the same, right? It just looks like a GoPro. What's the difference, mate? But there are a few key differences, and the ones that are important to me are, as mentioned, audio. So this does not have a big fluffy thing on, and I don't think it will need a big fluffy thing on. This has a built-in mic wind muff. So this thing clips on the front, it's got foam inside of it, it's nicely spaced out, and that is supposed to really reduce the wind noise on this device. I'll play a clip of me testing that now.
This is an Insta360 Ace Pro 2 test shot. I'm doing 14 miles an hour with a slight tailwind. All standard settings, 4K, 30 frames a second, everything in auto. A bright, sunny but cold morning. I've got the wind muff on the front, but I've not changed any of the mic settings or anything, so this is just as it comes out of the box. Now doing 25 miles an hour, a bit windier, not covering anything. What do we think? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, blah, blah, blah.
Whether it's as good or not remains to be seen, but I do know it's easier to stow in a pocket rather than me carrying around a big like afro with me. So maybe that's, even if it's like 95% as good, that would be a better all-around package for me. One thing that I didn't think would be a benefit, but it is, if you look at this GoPro lens, if you can see, but I've dropped this a few times and chewed on it and so on, there's quite a bit of damage on it. If you damage that glass, you have to replace the GoPro or the whole front of it. You can't essentially like unscrew those. You have to like, well, I'm not going to break it. You can't replace them. Whereas this, you can, so you twist this lens off, And obviously you don't want to be breaking these, and I'm sure they're not super cheap, but you can actually, if this helps, if I just built it, there you go. I can take the whole lens off and in theory replace that, I'm sure. So that's useful to me. I stick this in, chuck it in bags, pockets, and drop it and that sort of stuff. Now the package I bought, I actually bought a little mount thing with it that I thought I'd need, but I don't need it. It's got the same prong thing, that's definitely the right term, as a GoPro. So that means I can use all of the silly little expensive attachments that I bought over the years. With this, I haven't got to start again with a different standard of attachment, and that is great. But what is even better is they've done away with this little thing, that thing on the GoPro. You have to screw in and out. I guess you could use it on the Insta360, but this is actually removable. So if I press the buttons on the side, it pulls off, and it's magnetic as well. So it clips in and it's magnetic. Now, why is that a benefit to me? Well, when I bolt these onto a bike, they're then under the bike, I have to either fiddle around and try and unscrew this, and the reality of our roads, or the roads near me, is that they're so bumpy, I have to really tighten these up and use a little spanner, or don't use this and just use an Allen key bolt, and then I'm really tightening it up, and then I'm having to find an Allen key to be able to take it off. This will be a really simple thing to take off and swap the batteries in between races, or swap the batteries in between rides, or just take it off the bike, charge it and put it back on the bike. I think that's going to be such a big benefit to me. The battery life is quoted at like double the length of the GoPro. I almost don't believe that until I've tested it, but I will give it a go, and if that is the case, that's great. One little niche benefit that I nearly used a couple of days ago, but I didn't have the right cable with me. So it charges via USB-C, and it's supposed to charge fast and all of that, but you can actually use this as a power bank. So I was out on a ride with a friend, he punctured a couple of times, and I've got a little electric pump, and he was like, blowing his tyre up. Did it a couple of times, and the battery on that pump only lasts a couple of tyres. So I thought, if I had a USB-C cable with me, I could use this to charge the power bank, because the battery capacity on this is quite big, and I have a couple of batteries with me. If you're stranded in the middle of nowhere, and unlike me, you rank safety above content, you could plug this into your phone and charge your phone. I don't know how many times it'll charge it, probably not very many, but enough to save you to be able to make a phone call, or to be able to, I don't know, run a front light to get you home if it's died a couple of miles from home, something like that. I think that's just a really useful option to have. Now, I didn't have a USB-C wire with me because I don't normally carry one, but knowing that I've got something like this now, I'd probably stick one in my saddlebag. The data thing, cycling data, stats on screen, all of that, power, heart rate, everything I like to put on screen. It does work through the Insta360 on the app, the mobile app only at the minute. Now that is good, that's okay, and that means that if I want to just press on for 2 or 3 minutes when I'm on the club chain gang getting dropped, or something exciting's happening and I want to put that data on it, it's easy to do. It's not currently usable for me in a crit race or a road race, because the file's going to be huge, it's going to be a long thing. I can't use my phone to process a several gigabyte file. So good for the time being. Insta360 do say that it is going to roll out to their desktop editor program in the coming months. So when that happens, I will use this for racing. Until then, I'll just be continuing the GoPros and the fluff. This is pretty big as well. It's got a flip up screen. I know what you're thinking, the 2000s called, they want the Motorola back. This is actually, for me, I think it's really, really useful. Firstly, who doesn't love the sight of their own face? But secondly, when I'm vlogging on a GoPro, the front screen, you can see some of what the camera is capturing, but with this, you'll be able to see it all. Now that's important for if I'm talking to somebody and I'm saying, I'm going to interview you about this, and then I put the video out and I've actually cut half their face off. This actually will prevent that problem, so I'm looking forward to using that. And I thought, it's going to be flimsy, I'm going to break it. It does feel quite strong, and it's rated to something like 40,000 opening and closings. You've got to press buttons either side to lift it up, so I think that is going to be more useful than not, and I cannot wait to give that a go on the vlog. I was going to try and do some sort of side-by-side image quality comparison, but it's just not a fair thing to measure at the minute. I've got these on a lot of manual settings, and I've started trying to color grade, so it'd just be completely different. But looking at this out of the box, I think the image quality is really good, and actually I'd be tempted to not do any colour grading work on my normal vlog content and just to use this as it is. That would save me time in the editing process and posting process, and I post videos on this channel every day, so that does help me. So I'm looking forward to testing that out. The Insta360 editor desktop wise looks okay, but not suitable enough for all the stuff I do in editing, overlaying some screenshots of things and doing different things. It isn't quite there yet, and I don't think it's designed to be that sort of thing, but yeah, okay. The other problem I can see is that on the mic thing, you can see there's some mud in it already. I went for a short off-road ride and didn't really cake it in mud. It was in my pocket actually, but if that gets filled with mud, the audio quality will be terrible. I know that you can pop it off and take the foam thing out and, you know, get a cocktail stick and poke it out, but like I can't do that on a bike ride, so it'd be not ideal if it gets clogged up with mud. Whereas this, my little Afro Fuzz, I can just like, you know, just wipe it like that and it's sorted again. So there you go then, in a nutshell, that's what I think to this. I'm going to do some more testing and come back to you, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Should I have bought something else? If so, don't tell me because I'm not buying anything else. But if you've got one and you used it more than I have, let me know what you think to it down below, what I should do with it to test it. I'll be also interested to hear, if you're not like a professional content creator, I don't know what that is, but you know, if you haven't got a YouTube channel or if you don't really put much effort into content, would you buy something like this just to create memories or to, you know, record some things, or would you not bother? I'm finding it really hard to decide whether people do that or not. Lots of people I follow on Instagram make great content, but they're not like, they don't have a content strategy, they're not trying to be an influencer or whatever. So yeah, interested to hear about what you know, how big is this market for people buying them? You see them all over the internet, of people who are creators using them, I think. I've not really seen, like, nobody I know in my cycling club has bought one, or even a GoPro, really. So, thank you for watching, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and I'll come back to you about this in more detail soon.